Hi, this is Jackie with Soluzio. In this video, I'm going to show you AutoCrat, what AutoCrat is and how to set it up from a very simple form. Depending on the complexity of your form will determine how easy managing AutoCrat will be. I'm going to take this, one of these sample forms here, and make a copy of it. And then I'm going to go ahead and open that form. And so one of the things for AutoCrat to work properly is that each question has to have its own. Oh, this is a contact one. I think I want to do a practice with a simple parish registration. That's what I want to use. So this one I'll go ahead and remove, but let's use this one. What I was saying is that in order to use like a mail merge, every question has to be unique. So if you have questions for spouses or children, if there's one that's like birth date and you have multiple people, like you have to have spouse or head of household would have to be like part of the name of the question in order for this to work. So as long as each one's different, that will work. In this instance, we're going to go to, if the spreadsheet doesn't exist, on the responses screen inside the form you hopefully have access to. I'm going to add AutoCrat example. I'm going to create the spreadsheet that goes with it and go ahead and create that new spreadsheet. It's going to open that for me. And here, we're going to set up a merge template. So the thing I'm going to do inside of Google Drive is I'm going to create a Google Doc that is AutoCrat merge sample. So the spreadsheet, I'm going to make another sheet in the spreadsheet. I'm going to copy the first row of text in sheet 2. I'm going to rename that to merge template. Here I'm going to paste data. I think it's paste transposed is what I want. Yep. So it took what was in a row and pasted it in a column. And here we need this information a second time. So basically we're going to create tags around this information so that it can be identified from the merge. How I usually do that is I'll add a colon and a space, and then actually I don't have, that doesn't have to be separate. And there's reason for my madness, I promise here. So what I really want to do now is I'm going to concatenate, equals concatenate. And we're going to append together this string of text. This one, this one, this one again, and then the end one. So my output looks like, I think it was going to autofill for me and I clicked off of it. So my output looks like this. So there's brackets, double brackets around each, that's where the answer is going to go in this merge versus where the field is. But since we're going to make this as something that can be printed, undo. I have this other fancy, excuse me. Didn't mean to do that. I have this other fancy tool where I usually paste in here first, copy from Notepad++, and then paste into my Google Doc, because otherwise, like you saw, it pasted the table. So this is going to be St. Parish registration. I'm going to format this the how I would like it to be. And then from here, timestamp usually is something that just the office needs. So that one we might go ahead and put in the top right hand corner. Then you're going to have name, address, and here you might want to, next to under address, we actually might take away these other elements of it and give it city, comma, state. Whoops. And then, oh, we do want the space there, sorry. And then another space or two, and then the zip code. And then, of course, the rest of this information. That way you know what you're getting should you print this. Okay. So I've got that one. If I were to go look at other examples, I think I have a few in here. Let's see. Here's an example of what a more complex form might look like as far as a setup template. So here I've got timestamp, etc. You notice that's a different question than this one, and so on and so forth throughout this setup. So for children, we've got first name, birth date, gender, school, but each one's separated out by child's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Hopefully that makes sense about how to set up a mail merge. And then we're going to go back to our spreadsheet. And under the form responses, we're going to, on the add-ons, if this one doesn't exist yet, we're going to click on Get Add-ons. And from here, find, it's called AutoCrat. So this one here, it's installed. If it weren't installed, you could download, or I think if you click on it, you can install it that way. So now that I have the AutoCrat add-on added, I'm going to launch. I didn't think it used to make, that might be kind of new. I didn't used to make a separate spreadsheet. It would just append its data to the far right column of previous spreadsheets. And maybe that's what it'll still do. It just needed to create it as part of this process. So this is a pretty simple form. So this shouldn't take a long time to do. I was hopeful that I would be in the form responses because there doesn't make sense to add AutoCrat to the sheet that is merge template. So thank you for your patience. I didn't realize this would take so long to load. I probably should not have started that over, but I did. Okay, here it goes. So we're going to create a new merge job. Again, thank you for your patience as that took a moment. So this is the sample merge. We're going to go to the next, and we're going to grab this AutoCrat merge sample template that we just created. So AutoCrat, we're going to go select from my drive. AutoCrat merge sample. So hopefully this should show your recents. You should be able to click it pretty simply. So it's going to fetch the tags that we set up. So each of these, this would be a tag. Next. And then these should match. As long as you don't have any duplicate questions, these should auto match up what they are. And then in the next screen, we're going to give it an output. So maybe we want the name, the output on the file. We're going to give it name, registration, and then sometimes I'll add timestamp to that so you can look back and see when that was created. The output could be a Google Doc, or the output could be a PDF, which is probably what you want it to be. And then single output would make all registrations into one PDF. Multiple output will give every submission its own PDF. Let's click on next. If we want to create an extra folder where we want these PDFs to also be stored, which I do recommend, we're going to choose that folder. I have a different Google Drive setup than you do, so it's just a process of clicking and choosing that folder. So that's going there. It'll just list where that's going to go. So I'm going to click on next. If you want, this one I usually don't spend time with the dynamic folder reference. A merge condition, usually not. If I did set one up, it would be on form submission, but I think that's automatic. Send and share documents. Like this is, I think, what most people would like Auto or Google Docs to do automatically without having to set this piece up. But I'm going to send a PDF. If it's not allow collaborators to reshare. So if you want your parish secretary to be able to reshare this with a pastor, if they're not being originally receiving this, click yes. If not, it'll restrict it to who they can share these PDFs with. To send from a generic no reply email address, if I select no, if I'm the person that sets up the AutoCrat, even if I'm not a parish staff member, all those emails for registrations are going to come from Jackie@soluziosoftware.com. So I want to go ahead and, in this instance, I'm going to say yes. Here you can also, before we named the PDF file name, here we can tell who this is going to go to. So if you had a field where email address was what was listed, we could add email. If you wanted to send a copy to the the person who submitted the form, you could do that. Oops, sorry. That's what that would be right here. And then, of course, in this instance, myself, or whichever staff members are going to receive this email, and separate those email addresses with a comma. Here we're going to type in the subject, and again, this was going to be name, registration, and maybe you want the timestamp here, but you don't want it on the and then that should give each one a different email to that person. If you want a separate message in here, otherwise it'll just attach the PDF into the subject. And click on next. I usually like this for it to run on a form trigger. So basically when the form is submitted, it'll go ahead and auto send or auto do the AutoCrat piece. So I'm going to click on save. So if I go ahead and complete this form and see the form in real time, whoops, sorry about that. Salutio number. And I want to use a different one than my Salutio address, but I'll go ahead and use Salutio's address right now. No, I want to see. I still want to see both that go through there, so that we can verify that they're different. Previous parish, St. Joseph. We don't have any children, but I'm going to say Bobby is 3 and Madeline is 4. I don't know, make that up. And then, of course, be more specific with your questions if you want more information. So I've submitted that. In the form response, here's all that information. And then this says it's starting in Eastern time. I don't know that I've seen that before. Oh, here it is. There's created. So this is where the PDF is stored, and then this is a link to that PDF, so we can go look at it. So this is what that looks like, and then yep, I received it. So here's what that email looks like. For the PDF registration. So if AutoCrat mail merge is something you're looking into, those are in general the steps to accomplish. Create your form, create your spreadsheet, create your template, something like this, which again I think using the concatenate feature is really going to make that so much faster. And then of course test it out to see if you get what this says here. So let us know if you have questions. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.